We are so grateful to be here today, but what's most important is that I hope you understand that you're here for a specific reason. And I don't know what that reason may be for you, but I do know this, that if you put in here what you really want to get out of, you will walk out of this door a different person. So it's entirely up to you if that's what you choose to do. So what we do with this Happy Healthy Hour is simply this. This is really about you and why you are here. So when you think about why you're here, really think about what your message is and what your dream is, that's what makes this work. So you had folks that drive in all the way from Houston, from Lake Jackson, Missouri City, Sugarland, Pearland. So because they believe in this. So I just have to start with somebody that I know can help make this thing work really, really well. So you gotta tell me, Gemma, why did you drive up? You know, that's Gemma's story. Now, when you heard her talk about the hot flashes to the ladies that's in the room, you should have seen her husband's eyes light up. So, you know, he gets it too, you know. So hot flashes affected the whole family because, you know, he would be cold and all of a sudden the covers would not be on him, you know. So that's really important. So, but understand her story. Understand that she's a different person today because she gave her body what it needs, and when you give your body the proper nutritional building blocks, it will heal itself. So understand, we're not making any medical claims here, but we are telling you that you got to give your body what it needs. You see, the mission that we're on, this mission to help stop human suffering, physically as well as financially, is one in which that everybody can take a part of whenever you choose to. So when you really begin to think about that mission and understand Dr. Wallach, as you know, Jennifer just so eloquently told you his story. But how many of you know that this man is really flat out crazy about helping you to get better?
Yeah.
You realize that we got to get flat out crazy too in order to get our message out there. You see, so if you're truly interested to help stop human suffering physically as well as financially, you won't be stopped. You'll have more guests in this room. But here's the other key about this. You see, everybody knows that we're working at a half a tank. And if you don't know, let me explain that to you. You see, the soils have been so overused that we don't get the same nutritional value that our parents got or our grandparents got. 30 years ago, 85% of the nutritional value found in our soil is gone. So that means that if it's not in the soil, that means that it's not in the foods that's coming from that soil, and that means it is not in us. So if it is not in us, then we're not getting that proper nutrition. We must supplement. Many of you may have heard of that particular legislative law, document number 264, that basically says that in order for us to get the proper nutrition, one must supplement. I'm paraphrasing. Ladies and gentlemen, that was written in 1936. So it is now 2016. So in 1936, if they realized that, how do you think we're feeling today? So we must supplement, but we got to put the right supplementation into our system. So that means the 90 essential nutrients. So that means 60 minerals. That means 16 vitamins. That means 12 amino acids and 3 essential fatty acids. We've got all of that covered in our Healthy Body Start Pack. And you saw Gemma look to the front because we're so used to having a display of that Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack so people can see what we're talking about. So you may see some of these other folks when they're up here sharing their story, look over to the right because that's what we do at a Happy Healthy Hour. We have a display there. But here's the issue that I want you to really take in, is that everybody out here may not every morning get up and want to take all of these different supplements consistently. To the men that's in the room, I want you to be honest with me now. How many of you every morning without skipping anything, take all of your nutritional supplements?
Men.
Okay, so we got about 3 men out of all the other men that's sitting in this room. Okay? So you guys are diehard, so I'll give it up for you. So what I'm about to say is that it's okay. Most men don't. But how many men in here, if you knew that you could just get up in the morning, get started by opening your refrigerator door, taking a bottle of Z-Radical, You're a bottle. You're a bottle. You don't have to worry about sharing it with anybody and just chug it up. Is that okay with you?
Yes. Yes.
4 ounces every day, that's all you got to do. So what I'm saying is that people are looking for simplicity. They're looking for ways in which they can feel better, but they want to do it real simple. So Free Radical has a main ingredient in it called fucoidan, F-U-C-O-I-D-A-N. And fucoidan works at the cellular level, cell-to-cell communication. So it is impossible for it not to work. All you got to do is drink it. That's all you got to do. And if you want it in pill form, we have it that way too. We also have it in powder form. But that's all you got to do every day. But when you couple that fucoidan, found that Z radical, with your 90 for life, guys, you've got a program that's on steroids. It will absolutely have you doing flips and anything else. But if you don't believe me, you don't have to be 20, 25, or 30 to feel and have energy. You don't have to do that. So we've got somebody in this room that, is much older than that, but you would never know from her spirit. And she drove here. She takes all excuses away. I'll let her tell you how young she is. I learned a long time ago with women, you don't do that. You don't tell their age unless they choose to. So, Ms. Miola, please tell us why you're here today. So if you're sitting in this room today because you came here, you're looking for quality of health, then you're in the right place. And she's a picture of that. If you're sitting in these rooms today because you know what, I'm thinking of a way in which I want to be able to have a business of my own. I want to supplement my income. I'm looking for a way to create a residual income. I want to leave a legacy for my family. Then you're in the right place. If you're sitting here because you're saying to yourself, I just want to save more money. I just want to be able to go and take some trips that I've not been able to take those trips. And what I want to do by that is simply, I want to have a fund that basically reads my fun money. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Yeah. So maybe that's why you're here. Or maybe you want to give to your church or charitable organization of choice as much as you want when you want. Maybe that's why you're here. If any of those reasons or dreams for many of you feel like they're right here for you, then you are in the right place. Now it's going to be up to you if you really want to go out and make that happen, because we're going to give you the vehicle to do so. If you choose to drive off very fast, great. We'll help you move very fast. But if you're not real sure, you're still sort of placed in neutral, that's okay too. But eventually you're going to have to move forward or backward, because you cannot remain in neutral. But then, let's just say that you're sitting here today because you're like, my health is important, but I do want to make that extra money. I understand the mission, physically as well as financial, to help stop human suffering, but I'm just not sure yet. I'm still not there. So let me tell you a little bit more about the fucoidan, and maybe it'll help you to understand that why we go out here and say what we say. You see, fucoidan comes from the 3 strongest strands of seaweed, from the Arctic and the Antarctica, the coldest of waters. And then it has a cold water extraction process, less contamination. And then it's placed in a bottle in its purest state, and no air hits that product until you open it. That's how great what we have. That's why it is so great. And then I'll take it a step further for you. When you drink it, it doesn't feel or taste like seaweed. It doesn't. For those of you that are drinking it, would you agree with me? I agree. It tastes great, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And so that's what you have in your hands. And then there are some properties found in fucoidan that's absolutely fantastic. Those properties are anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-cancer. Fucoidan helps stop the spread of cancer within 72 hours. It causes cancer cells to self-destruct, apoptosis. How many of you here know anybody with cancer? Now this is all public knowledge. You can actually go to the National Library of Medicine, PubMed.gov, and type in fucoidan and cancer, and you will see research In fact, you can do for coordinate cancer, sinus, allergies, colds, flu, diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, such as sickle cell, lupus, or AIDS. It's all there. It is all right there. So it's not just something that we're having to say that it's longevity doing all of the research. No. These are unsolicited studies. I don't know if you guys get that. I don't know if you understand how powerful that is, to be able to stand before someone and say, it's not my company that's doing the research. These are unsolicited studies that started back in 1970. That's why we do what we do, and that's why it's so powerful, and that's why we start right there with the Z-Radical. It is absolutely amazing because it gives the body what it needs. Again, it is impossible for it not to work. It actually take an abnormal cell and make it normal. I don't know about you, but that's pretty powerful. It is considered the most powerful nutrient ever discovered. The wonder nutrient of the century. That's what you have in your hands. That's why it's so simple for you to go out and talk with anyone about it. But if you don't believe me, we're going to talk a little bit more about the research. But before we do that, I want to hear another story. And I'm going to ask Jan if she will come up and share her story. So you can use it topically as well. Eczema. You know, just anything that may be going on. We had one young lady who had pink eye, and she put drops of the Z-Radical in her eye. Pink eye gone. It's amazing what you can do with it. Put it in your lotions, put it in your shampoo. And guys, one property that I didn't really talk about because I like to save it for last because it's so powerful, it has anti-aging properties in it. Woo! I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but it's so powerful. So let's talk a little bit about the research. And then we're going to hear from a couple more people, and then we're going to wrap this up and tell you how you can get started to the guests that's in the room. So when we talk about the research, there are over 1,000 studies, and as I indicated, you can actually go to the National Library of Medicine, pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, and you will see the research. But I want you to know, as you're looking at research, I want you to keep these two things in mind. I want you to realize that this is the first generation where parents will outlive their children. Now you heard Jan talk about the simple fact that when they had that financial hit in 2008, that they were really thinking about what they were going to do next. And she's right. Companies are downsizing, right-sizing, capsizing, whatever you want to call it sizing. They are. She and her husband were smart. They began to look at their business more seriously and realize that that's what they wanted to do. And realize that their health and their wealth is truly in their control. So you've got to make that stand and make that decision as to what you want to do. But when you have something that's going to back it up, it's even more powerful. So first generation where parents will outlive their children. Financially, this is the first generation where our children will not make as much money as we have made. Guys, that's where you can really make a difference. And then when you have the research to back it up, wait until you hear where the research is from. Then if you're not excited about what's in your hands, I don't know if I can do anything better than that. Because you're about to hear where all of this started and how it started and why we get excited about what we do. Because we are recording folks and we've been doing this for quite some time, but this is how it all started. Raymond?
Hey guys.
Hey.
Thank you. I don't know if I should tell you. I'll just, as it comes to me, I'll tell you how this whole thing started. Everybody knows that the main ingredient in Z-Radical is recording, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's the deal. The way this all came about, when you hear our story that we were the ones to bring Z-Radical to longevity and whatnot. Well, the story goes back 15 years ago. We were invited to come. I was owned a company, and Yolanda was an executive for American Express at the time, and we were invited to come take a look. This guy called us and said, "We found something that's going to change mankind as you know it." And I said, "Yeah, right." I said, "But if you're going to fly us down in first class and put us up, I told your mother, we ain't doing nothing this weekend, let's go. But here's what I told her. I said, listen, when we got on the plane, I said, we ain't buying nothing. We ain't selling nothing, we ain't signing nothing. And I said, when we get down there, don't you give me that look. Y'all know the look y'all give us, right? So when we got down there, they had invited like 14 other business people from across the country. Remember, nobody in the United States had ever heard of this stuff before, this nutrient called fecundin. So we were sitting around, we were at this table, I guess a conference table, and walk in 2 doctors and 3 scientists. And I kicked Yolanda under the table. I said, watch this dog and pony show. I've been in sales 42 years. I know when I see a sale coming, right? So they talked and they talked, but they pulled out this research. And at that time, there were like 300 studies on fecundin. And they talked about Canada and Russia and Europe, Asia, all these studies. But when they when they showed us studies from Harvard School of Medicine, everybody heard of Harvard?
Yeah.
School of Medicine? Duke, how about Duke?
Yes.
When they said Johns Hopkins, which is the world's foremost research center, and then Baylor right here in Texas. And the research started back in 1970, right? So then it was already 30 years or more of research on this stuff. I kicked Yolanda on the table. I said, I don't think Harvard and Duke and Baylor and Johns Hopkins put this stuff on the government website just to trick me. 30 years later, I said, I've been a fool not to do this. So guess what? We bought 10 cases back to Sugar Land.
And ladies, I didn't have to give him the look.
I was born at night, but not last night, right? So we had a gathering at our house. We call them happy, healthy hours. And so the very first person that bought a case was our neighbor, Mary. And her blood pressure dropped 30 points in 3 days. I said, wow. We also had a nurse in there. And anybody ever heard of Prozac?
Yep.
Well, she had been on Prozac for like 8-10 years. In about 2 months, her psychiatrist took her off of Prozac.
Woo!
I said, now I don't know why, but men in here can identify with me. I was still down, hard. Can you believe that? So, because I was thinking, maybe this stuff is all in their minds, right? And then the next story, big story that happened, my sister had 4th stage breast cancer. We had called hospice in. And they'd given her like 2 months. In about 5 weeks, we sent hospice home. And, guys, if that happened, we took off. We started telling anybody, anything that breathed, put a mirror up to them. They breathe, we told them about it. We started getting out of wheelchairs and all their canes and all of that stuff. So that's been a beautiful ride for us because, you know, we're going to talk about this a little later, but, you know, people talk about our retention rate. Well, when you got a product like Z-Radical, it's easy to have a good retention rate. Everybody want to know what our secret is, right?
Don't tell the whole secret.
Yeah, right. Don't tell nobody. Z-Radical. Right? So that's kind of like the whole thing in the story. You know, I like to also bring this up. For those of you who are old enough in this room, and I like for y'all to participate with me. Do y'all remember when we didn't have dialysis centers on the corner? Raise your hand, please. Right? You're old enough to remember that? Do you see them now? Everywhere. I remember when women never heard of breast cancer. That's the truth. It was extremely rare. Even if you heard of it. Now what is it? 1 in every 3 or 4 women have problem with that? ADHD, how about that? Yeah, how about ADHD? You heard of that? Yeah. You remember when we were growing up, what was ADHD? You You acted up in school, you went home, you got your butt beat. That was our ADHD, right? Now, there's 1 in every 4 children on some type of mind-altering chemical, right? So, my point is this. Where did all this stuff come from if 40 years ago, when we were young people in our 20s, where did that come from? If we got all these diseases now, breast cancer, dialysis centers everywhere, where did it come from? It came from us not having the nutrients in our foods. So I don't care if you eat organically or whatever you eat, it's not in the foods. It's not in the food, it's not in the soil, not in the foods, not in the foods. Guess what? It's not in us. So we have to supplement, guys. If you want to live a long, healthy life, look, I don't want to invest in stuff that I used to get for free, like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that kept us healthy. I don't want to do it any more than anybody else, but we have to. And so with that, I want to thank you. I'll turn it back over to you.
We get excited.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah.
You know, so just imagine having him every week doing this. And just imagine living with him and getting it every day. I mean, it's pretty doggone exciting. I gotta get it every day. So we really begin to think about it and understand that, guys, the only thing that we're doing is just really making sure that people understand what we have. And you know what, if they don't get it, it's okay. So we're not here to make any medical claims. I want to make sure that's loud and clear. But we are here to tell you again, when you give your body the proper nutritional building blocks, it will heal itself. So now, we're going to hear from a couple of more people, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Now, when we're doing a happy, healthy hour, I will just tell you this. Normally, we're sitting in a circle, and we're just having a conversation. We're just having a conversation. So, and then we just really get to understand what people are really interested in and what they really want to do. And then we know that their story is important to them. Now, if you don't believe me, you've heard from some of the ladies that drove up. Very quickly, we're going to hear from some of the guys. I'm going to ask you to kind of keep it to about 3 to 4 minutes. So, and that's what reason I'm starting with the guys, because guys can tend to kind of stick to 3 to 4 minutes. And then I'll bring the rest of the women up, and then they'll stick to 3 to 4 minutes too. All right? And I'm just getting the women prepared, just so they can get it in their heads, just two sitting at this table, so they'll know it's 3 to 4 minutes. So, of the guys, which one of you guys want to go first? Lindsay or Chris?
Chris.
So guys, those thank you checks that he was talking about, we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we wrap it up. But you notice a difference? He was looking for time freedom. That's his reason why. And he was talking to Raymond. He's really interested in the services piece of our business. Same company. So we've got the nutritional piece and we've got the services piece. So we're going to hear more about the services this afternoon too. But you got to understand that we've got something for everybody. And everybody can get started any kind of way they want. They can actually pick their passion and run with it. So if you're looking for mineral makeup, we got it. If you're looking for jewelry, we got that too. If you're really looking for the crux of where it all starts with the nutritional information and the products and all, we got that. But if you're looking for a way in which, you know what, I want to help some small businesses because they too are struggling. They too need our help. So we can help them too by helping them getting a small business loan, anywhere from $10,000 up to $500,000. So we got that also. But then if you just take it one step further, healthcare is really important. Everybody's talking about different ways about that. Virtual doctors. We have that with telecare. Oh my God, you know what? I'm still with the same company. One umbrella. We've got all of these things. And guys, in a couple of weeks, everybody's talking about Black Friday. Do you know you got this thing called Cart Ripple that you can actually send people to? And they can shop online and save money and get cash back. Do you realize that you've got your hands in just about everything, that you can create your own economy? I don't know about you, but I don't know why you're not excited about that. So that's why we do what we do. So let's hear from a couple more people, and then we're going to tell you how you can get started and absolutely not only be the change in someone's life, but make a difference in someone else's life, but starting with your own first. It's called residual income. It's called doing something once and getting paid for it over and over and over again. As a therapist, and that if you see, you have appointments for 6 clients, and let's say 5 of them don't show up, what happens?
You don't get paid.
You don't get paid. But in this business, if you're out sharing with others, and as long as they're on auto ship and getting product every month, what happens?
You build a residual income.
You get paid. Okay? So it's really important that you understand that, and that's her dream. That's her goal, and nobody can take it away from you. We're going to talk a little bit about the approaches today too, and you'll see that we don't convince anybody. We don't convince anybody, and we don't get any rejections. So if you truly want to get on board, if you truly want to go out and make a difference in folks' lives, then we're telling you that this is the place to be. So you can get started with that Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack. That's the CEO pack that, we're really passionate about. Why? Because it has 2 Healthy Start packs, a case of Z-Radical, selenium, pollen burst, rebound, all in one. You get all of that. It is the perfect regimen. So get started there. And guess what? If you don't want to ever go out and tell anybody about it, you don't have to. Just get healthy. But get that Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack. It is about your family. But if you're truly interested in creating a residual income, if you're truly interested in making a difference in someone's life, if you're truly interested in doing the right next thing, then you want to get started with that Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack, because it lets you get yourself positioned to where you can get coding bonuses, leadership bonuses. Yeah, you heard what Lindsay said. His wife got a check for a what?
Car bonus.
A car bonus. Guys, you can let go of all the other bonuses. All the other bonuses. But when we sit down and talk to people and we say you get a car bonus, it's like nothing else matters. I want that car bonus. And you don't even have to buy a car with it. And then there's revenue sharing. You get all of that. But of all of those things, I want you to know that the one thing that you get, that there's not a price to, is that you get to hang around folks like us.
Yeah.
We're all about helping people to help people to help people. This has been our Happy Healthy Hour. Is everybody happy? We're working on being healthy?
Yes, we are.
My dear friends, we did this in about an hour and 5 minutes. That's because some of those folks couldn't stick to 3 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. So we love each and every one of you. We hope that you understand why we call this our Happy Healthy Hour. And if you didn't have fun right here, pretend you did anyway.
Clap it up.